Good afternoon. My name is Zoya Abidi. The Luminaria ceremony is an opportunity for us to come together and remember why we're here at Doherty Valley High School's Relay for Life. Each Luminaria represents a treasured relationship. They represent people, and each has a name and a story to tell. There are our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters, our sons, our daughters, our friends, and our loved ones. They represent our shared vision for a future without cancer. We love the people the Luminaria represent. Each Luminaria will touch us in a special way.
This is a time for us to grieve for those we've lost and to hopefully find some closure. It's a time for us to reflect on how the disease has touched us personally, and it's a time for us to look inside ourselves with quiet reflection to find hope. No matter what our experience with cancer has been, we all share the hope that we will one day live in a world where our children and their children will never know the suffering of cancer or endure the staggering feelings of sadness and loss that cancer brings. Let's give a warm welcome to our first speaker of the night, Mr. Clemente.
Hey Doherty Valley, hey American Cancer Society, it's Mr. Clemente. I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to the kids and to all those that have participated in our 24-hour relay. I know we were in a shelter in place, and I know with the things that are going on in the world today, it is better that we stay home. And I know that means that we miss out on the physical kind of 24-hour relay where we get to go outside and support the American Cancer Society. I understand that it's one of those tough times, and we still appreciate your support during this whole thing, and we hope next year we can continue with our 24-hour relay. I just wanted to say a deep thank you to all of you that have helped and that are still part of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Clemente, for not only sharing your story with us, but for all your support this year. Hi, I'm Isabella Ramos, and I hope you're enjoying our virtual relay so far. I'm a freshman at Doherty Valley High School, and I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker, my dad, Jose Ramos. Jose is a member of the ACSCAN Board of Directors. He previously served as chair of the American Cancer Society's former California Division Board and has served in a variety of other roles, including as a legislative ambassador for ACSCAN, chair of Relay for Life, and as a state lead ambassador. In October 2019, he was awarded the American Cancer Society's highest volunteer award, the St. George National Medal of Honor. My dad works really hard for the American Cancer Society and its fight for a cure. He's one of my biggest inspirations, and I hope he can inspire you as well.
Hello, Doherty Valley Relayers. My name is Jose Ramos, and it's an honor to be one of your guest speakers today at your virtual Relay for Life event. I'm a 17-year volunteer with the American Cancer Society, who started volunteering with the society just like many of you. I started my volunteer career as the co-chair of the Relay for Life of Fairfield in 2003. It's just about 40 minutes north of here. And over those 17 years, I've been really blessed to have had an amazing set of rewarding opportunities with the American Cancer Society. I'm the former chair of the Board of Directors of the American Cancer Society's California Division, and I'm currently a member of the National Board of Directors for the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. The Doherty Valley High School Relay for Life is one of the most successful high school relay events in the country. And on behalf of the American Cancer Society's Chief Executive Officer, Gary Reedy, our national and area board members, I want to thank all of you for your leadership in the fight against cancer. I don't know most of you who are participating in today's event, but I do know that despite our lack of a personal connection, that we do share a common bond. We're involved in this important event today because we have all been touched by cancer. I mentioned earlier that I started volunteering 17 years ago, and it was the loss of my mom to lung cancer which started that volunteer journey. My mom was everything to me. She was an incredibly strong and loving woman who worked 3 jobs sometimes to raise me and my 2 brothers. She lost her mom to lung cancer, and a few years later found herself being caregiver to my dad, who ultimately passed away from esophageal cancer. After my dad died, cancer stayed out of our lives for a few years, but one day my mom found a lump in her breast. After seeing the doctor and getting some tests, we learned she had stage 2 breast cancer. I have to say I was pretty scared at that point. The thought of losing my mom to cancer after already losing my dad was pretty terrifying. And while I knew I wanted to help her through her cancer journey, I really didn't know what to do. But I did know about the American Cancer Society. I called their National Cancer Information Center, which is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. to get information on her specific cancer, and I also visited a local office to see what materials and services we can make use of. Thankfully, her cancer had not significantly metastasized, and she could have surgery and radiation to deal with the cancer. When her breast cancer was taken care of, we were incredibly relieved. Unfortunately, cancer did not stay away from her. 4 years later, I received a call when I was at work. It was my mom letting me know she had called an ambulance because she couldn't breathe and had to go to the hospital. I knew my mom had chronic obstructive pulmonary disease from her years of smoking, but after she had her imaging tests done at the hospital to check her lungs, we found out that there was a lump on one of the lungs. A biopsy soon revealed that she had small cell lung cancer, which is one of the most difficult of lung cancers to fight. I'm a numbers guy, and one of the first things I wanted to understand were her chances of survival. And unfortunately, they weren't very good. At the time, I think her chances of surviving 5 years were only about 10%. Despite that, I wanted to do all I could to help her beat cancer, and together, we started focusing on getting her the proper nutrition and exercise, and we changed doctors and cancer treatment centers to ensure that she had the best care. She ended up completing several rounds of chemotherapy, and while this type of cancer responds well initially to chemo, it does tend to come back, and it did. Eventually, the cancer spread to her brain, and she had to start having brain radiation treatment. That also helped for a bit, but the cancer remained. One day, sitting in our kitchen, she told me that she did not want to go through any more treatment, and that might be the hardest conversation that I've ever had. Weeks later, at UC Davis Medical Center in Sacramento, my mom passed away with all of us at her side. I went through all kinds of emotions when I lost her. I was sad, and then I was angry that I had to lose someone I loved so much in such a painful way. I could have stayed angry, but like some of you who have lost someone close to you, I decided to do something about it. My brothers and I started a Relay for Life team to honor my parents, and I'll never forget my first Luminaria ceremony. We had sent in my mom and dad's pictures to be projected onto a big screen along with a message. And even though I knew exactly what the message would look like, when I saw the tribute to them on the screen above a track lined with hundreds of other Luminaria bags, it was more than I could handle, and I broke down in tears. I went around the track that night looking at the heartwarming messages of love to so many others who had lost their battle or were courageously fighting cancer. And then I learned that night what it meant to be a volunteer with the American Cancer Society. It meant that I was part of a family who shared incredible challenges and loss, but who were also united with a common purpose to ensure that cancer is eradicated as a life-threatening illness. And that's why it's an honor to be part of your event. You students are leaders here in your community, setting an example and making a difference in lives of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that you don't even know. Some of the best ideas for the cancer fight come from our young people, and we need your leadership now and in the future to continue this battle. So my job, your job, our job, is to make death and suffering from cancer a thing of the past, so we can get to a day where we don't have to place Luminaria bags around a track. Thanks to your dedication and hard work, I know that day will come, but until then, I'm proud to join all of you in placing a Luminaria to honor my mom and dad alongside your tributes to your friends and loved ones. I'm so grateful to all you Wildcats for your leadership in the cancer fight, and I'm equally grateful to all of your friends and family who have contributed to your events and fundraising. We can't fight this battle without the generous contributions from donors, and I encourage you to continue asking your connections for support in this important fight. Thanks for the opportunity to join you today, and enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you for those powerful stories. Stories like these remind us why we're here and why Relay for Life is so important.